don't think our trustees, school trustees, are useful. Trustees are useless. This is my word. Trustees for school divisions, they are useless. They are wasting taxpayers' money. Hello, welcome back. Chinese New Year usually lasts for 15 days. So technically right now we're still in the Chinese New Year period, right? So today I just saw a video that the Chinese community had a dim sum, had a meal with Pierre Poilievre. So he may be the next leader of Canada. And then the way he answered a few questions made me really want to talk about that today. That's why we are here. So I'm going to watch it with you guys and then let's talk.
Obviously, we're coming through a terrible 10 years in Canada. Crime raging out of control, housing costs doubled, food banks overflowing with people, the worst economy in the G7, and drugs everywhere in our streets, 49,000 people dying, a government that's completely lost control. But the good news is that in 2025, Canadians will have a chance to take back control of their lives, to axe taxes, build homes, stop crime, ban drugs, unleash our economy with free enterprise, free trade. And that's the beautiful, bright Canada First future that we share together.
So this is something that I want to talk about. He sounded, in the last few sentences, he sounded really like Donald Trump. Oh my goodness, I'm kind of scared of that. And then there's one mistake in his speech there. In the G7 countries, Canada is not the worst. I did my research, you can do it your own. So in 2023, because I couldn't find any analysis from 2024 yet, maybe because the data is not out yet. So in 2023, in the G7s, Canada is the number 2 average per person, average GDP number 2. So America is the first, Canada is the number 2, Japan is the lowest. So I don't know where he got his data. Maybe he's right, maybe I'm wrong, but if you know, please comment it. We can discuss about that. And then next, he will talk about how to save some money for the people, for the taxpayer.
17,000 public servants retire every single year. My view is we don't need to replace every single one of them. You know, we've got 50% more public servants than we did a decade ago, and we're getting worse service. On top of that, we've doubled the amount the government spends on outside consultants who are now doing the work the bureaucracy should do. That's a total of $21 billion we're spending on consultants. That's $1,400 for every Canadian family in taxes to fund federal government consultants. I will be slashing the consultants, and I will be reducing the federal bureaucracy through attrition by filling only a fraction of the job that become vacant as people retire. And that will allow us to save money. We need to cut bureaucracy, cut consultants, cut corporate welfare, and cut foreign aid so that we can bring down debt, taxes, and inflation. We also need to unleash growth. Think about it.
Yes.
The economists have calculated that we could increase federal revenues by about $15 billion if we had free trade between our provinces. Why? Because our economy would be bigger. If our businesses were able to sell more products to our own people, the government would collect more revenue from that. If we unleashed our energy sector is the most productive sector in the country of all. That's not an opinion, it's just the dollar value of every hour worked in the energy sector is the highest of any other sector. You allow resource development, you generate billions of dollars of revenue, not through higher taxes, but through higher GDP. So unleash productive GDP, cut wasteful bureaucracy, you can bring down taxes and deficits. Thank you.
So in this part, there are something I would like to discuss about that. I do agree with that. I think We have a lot of government employees and they're not doing a very good job. So as a Canadian, if you lived in this country for long enough, if you have anything you deal with the government, I think you probably will know how slow they are. Like as a newcomer from Eastern culture, I'm shocked how slow they are. If you call your city office or your province office or the federal office, you can be on hold forever. Not even the government, the big corporation, the big companies, same thing. If you call your communication company, you will wait for forever. I just don't know why Canadian people are doing things like that. Personally, right now, I'm facing a very big challenge that I'm trying to host a big event and I'm looking for a venue. Those people just don't reply my email. And then even though they replied, I replied again immediately and I have to wait for days. I'm not talking about 24 hours or 48 hours. Days. Really, I talk with my friend, I was like, you Canadians don't want to make money? You don't want customers? Like, I don't get it. I'm someone who wants to buy the service from you. Okay, so I should not complain too much about that part. I do agree with his point that we don't need that many staff because the Canadian system is too slow. It's too slow. When I was working in the board office, I have to slow myself down. Otherwise, my Canadian coworkers, they will look bad. Something they do for 2 days, I'll do it in 4 hours. I'm not joking about that. That's why when pandemics was happening, people see the news. Oh, China built a hospital in 7 days or 5 days, whatever. We have the ability to do it, but are you willing to do it in that way? Anyways, so I have a question for Pierre now. I agree with you to cut down. We don't need everyone to fill out all the positions who retired. However, it's already very slow. As a newcomer, I know how slow to apply for PR, how slow to apply for a study permit, which I'm working in international education right now. Our students, they have to wait for months to get their study permit. So it's so slow. If you cut down those services, how are you going to make the processing time faster? I am not joking. Federal speed is very, very slow. Very, very slow. I can make 100 examples about that. But really, like, what is you cannot just say that. Sounds good. Yes. We don't have high efficiency. It's like Donald Trump. He pointed Elon Musk to do that, to make the government to be more efficiency. But how? Like you're gonna cut those people, but those people are slow. Less people do more work, and then right now you have like thousands, millions of applications for study permit, work permit, PR, everything waiting there. I'm just talking about the immigration part. I'm not talking about even other parts. So there are so many people waiting behind there. How are you going to fix that? And then in this part, he also talked about selling product inside of Canada. I cut the whole interview. So he was talking about we should not be independent on we should not be dependent on the US that much. We should be more independent. I agree with those parts. However, you cannot just give us a beautiful picture, but there's no actual strategy there. You know, of course, we understand that. Everybody knows we should not just be depending on the US, but Canada only has almost 40 million people. It's a very small community. I understand that we should encourage province to province business trade inside of Canada. However, our market is not that big. We're not China. We're not India. We're not Bangladesh. We're not Japan. We're not US. Like, it's very small. What's the other way? He's saying like he's going to do the pipe. Sure, do the pipe. Then we can we can export our oil to Asia country, to other places. Do it. Right? So I just hope that the politicians, they can really have some exact strategy. Not just saying this. Like if I want to become a politician, I can say that too. I'm going to reduce our staff so we save money. We can ask taxpayer pay less money, but We don't need that many people. And I can see that from myself. Because as a newcomer, I worked in the system for a long time. I realized that how slow those people in the office they are. Like people go to the office, they just greet each other for 15, 20 minutes, just making a coffee. They're paying by, I don't know, $50 per hour, 60 hours per hour. They talk with each other just for greeting. Good morning. How are you yesterday? Blah, 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 blah. And then you are wasting taxpayers $30 of the money. I can see those things. But how are you going to do that? How are you going to ask those employees, hey, stop saying hello for 20 minutes to your friend, to your coworker, go to your spot to work, right? Same thing, like, this is joke, like, not joke, this is fact, but I make fun of that. Every time my wife's family, when we leave a Christmas party, any event, the Canadian goodbye is like 20 minutes. Like, you said goodbye, let's go. Or don't say goodbye, don't say let's go, just finish your conversation and then let's go. Like, I have to wait in the door for like 15, 20 minutes. I'm not complaining my wife's family, but that's the fact of Canadian culture. So, yes, I agree with his philosophy, his beautiful, perfect idea, but how to really enforce that? That's my biggest question. And really, the cutting off of the staff, I totally agree. I even think in Manitoba, I don't agree with some of the bill before, didn't pass anyways. We were proposing a bill that against education. I was not agree with that. But in the bill, there's one part I would agree that I don't think our trustees, school trustees, are useful. Trustees are useless. This is my word. Trustees for school divisions, they are useless. They are wasting taxpayers' money. So in this case, I do agree to cut that off, but how to make the system to be more efficiency. And then there's another part I want to discuss.
Look at what Justin Trudeau has done to for the lives of people in Richmond. He's doubled housing costs, most expensive housing costs in the world, right in Vancouver and Vancouver area. They tried to push decriminalized fentanyl into your streets, into your schools. They given tax dollars to hand out hydromorphone opioids. They push liberal drug consumption sites. When the Chinese community spoke up against them, liberal racists went and made racial slurs against Chinese people, which I condemned. Justin Trudeau refused to condemn it. And they brought in catch and release bail. So now you have these violent criminals terrorizing our communities and being released within days. They've raised your taxes. They've driven people to food banks because carbon tax has driven up food prices. So if you had that record, what would you do? You would spread lies about the other party. And that's exactly what they are doing. Common sense conservatives believe in controlled, compassionate immigration. We believe that we should bring in lawful immigrants who follow the rules to get into the country, that we should control the population growth so that we never add people faster than we add houses. And we believe in ending the fraud in the international student and temporary foreign worker programs that have caused so much chaos for so many people. These are policies that are widely supported by the Chinese community. We were in government before. For 10 years, I was in government. Did any of these things that the Liberals are talking about, did they happen? No. So we had a majority government in both the House of Commons and the Senate, and we never did any of the things that they're warning about. So these are just Liberal lies trying to hold on to power. But the good news is Canadians of Chinese descent and of all backgrounds are too smart for Liberal lies. Thank you.
Thank you.
So about this part, connect to last part. So it's complicated. So again, first of all, I want to say, like, I do agree with some of his saying, some of things need to be changed. I agree with that. About housing price. So I did some research by myself. I searched in the past Canadian housing history. The highest housing price going up was from 2008 until 2015, 16-ish. That's the highest. That time was the Blue Party time, was the Conservative Party was in charge. That was the Steve Harper time. Talking about Steve Harper, talking about cutting immigration, cutting off those, he was saying in the last part, he was saying like short staff for federal government. I know that before I moved to Canada, I think it's before I moved to Canada, in Winnipeg, we actually had RICC office, the immigration office in Winnipeg. People can go in to ask for services. I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, correct me in the leave message. Leave your comment to correct me, okay? So at that time, we had RICC office, immigration office in Winnipeg. So people can go, talk, ask, or giving documents, whatever. And then by Steve Harper, they cut it off. So when my parents was applying for PR, holy, we had so many problems. We had to, after like waiting, they did a health check twice. The second time, the deadline almost expired. So we had to contact our local MP to contact immigration officers. So this is ridiculous. Like, again, I understand cutting off staff, good. But how to do it? Housing. Go back to housing. I understand everybody wants the house price to be lower, sure. But how? Tell us how. It's not about controlling newcomer students, the house will be better or anything. You need to give us some specific strategies. Not just saying, I don't like people just saying bad words about each other. It's like, I think Donald Trump is crazy. Like, it's a joke. Like, being politician, fine, but do it in a civilized way. Don't just call each other the liar, they're crap, don't do that. Like, be polite at least, And then I understand you may be frustrated, but as a country's leader, I think, well, in this way, I can be a leader. Like, I can talk about shit like that, right? Joking. So, go back to what he said. The housing price, yes. I don't think it's all because of liberal. It's a whole thing, it's a whole package. And then he was talking about the tax, the carbon tax, those things. So I am someone, I believe, I don't mind paying too much tax, okay? As long as the money you take from us, you use it back to the society. That will be okay. You can take a lot of money from me, sure, but I have a better life. If you charge more tax, tell me the reason. If the reason is reasonable, I think smart people will understand that. If you're not smart enough, educate them. Change the education system. One day I will make another episode about that. So talking about that, really, tax is okay. I don't think tax is something gonna make the country worse. But the tax you took, how you use it back to your people, that's the point. In this city, in Winnipeg, we pay lots of tax, which is fine. I'm okay with that. But come on, it's winter. Clean the snow, right? It's summer. Don't fix like my house area, my living area. There's some road, pretty good condition, but they flipped the road. There are some roads are way worse condition you're not doing. Are you kidding me? Use our money in the right place. That's the point. Like this, like Pierre, I assume he is living in a nice area in his city. He may not see the poor people area, how people live in those areas. Like, go to your people, to see, like, if you don't know how international students really feel, go to international schools to ask to the students face to face, talk with them, sending some of your people, getting some information back, like, and then make your game rules, right? So this is something I want to discuss. Like, I want to hear what you think. Again, I'm not against anyone at this point. I'm open-minded right now. anyone who can bring this country good, I think we should support. But please give us the real strategy. Okay, I'm frustrated with Justin Trudeau as well. And then I'm also frustrated with Steve Harper. So now if the blue comes back, sure, but it needs to have something really, have some change. So what do you think? Please leave your comment. Let's discuss about that. I think it's good for the future for Canada, even for the US, because Canada is very connected to the US. It's good for the world. Thank you for watching.